These are the faces of leadership at CSUF. Niu and Jefferson are the president and vice president of ASI, elected with the promise of advocating on behalf of all students at CSUF. Eric shares his experiences so far as the new president.
Advocacy, communication, and transparency. CSU tuition has been doubled compared to 5 years ago, has been increased more than 20% compared to last year. And for every dollar the CSU system invests in students return more than $5.43. I believe it is a time for students to say, no, we want our education. So in order for us to advocate on behalf of students, we need to communicate with students about the impact of budget cut, and then bring it back to our board here in ASI and whatever events we have here. We want to be transparency to set a good example for students that, we are a student-run corporation, and our mission is to serve students to better.
After a rigorous campaign, the candidates immediately began their promised efforts, but it all comes down to the students. Have they noticed?
I think they are acting on that. Like they are trying to reach out more people, get involved with the street team, the clubs, promoting College Town Now, searching for student feedback.
I've seen them, I know who they are, but I've never seen them kind of reach out towards students. Well, personally myself, maybe because I'm only on campus certain days.
After talking to many students, we discovered several different opinions. One of the biggest misconstrued facts is that ASI can control our tuition increases. Jay explains his position on this and clears the air.
A lot of legislation around higher education, it's all political. And I think the greatest message is just we need to be involved. When we look at why higher education is continually being cut, it's because the California legislature does not feel accountable to students. We have over 400,000 students throughout the CSU, but when it comes to voting, which is what matters to politicians, we don't turn out in high numbers. It's always easier to look at something and critique it, but once you're in the position, it's very different. And so even seeing, even being the commissioner and saying, I wish I could change this, now that I'm here, it's like there still are certain limitations, because you begin to see that there are greater issues. There are always greater issues than what you see on the surface.
But the question remains, have the candidates been able to keep their promises?
We definitely see a dramatic change within ASI and within the student body here in Cal State Fullerton. Numerous advocacy events throughout the summer. We had one advocacy event. We were trying to go to the Senator Harmon's office to lobby on behalf to ask. We ran a campaign to ask the chancellor and the board trustees to increase student representation, to sit on the search committee, which means
we talk to students. I think that's the approach we've tried to use, is really just being open and open to criticism and open to input and feedback.
Right. I can disagree with you, but I can still respect you and support you. I think that's the key.
Right.
Eric and Jay will continue advocating on behalf of students next semester. Reporting for the Daily Titan, I'm Lena Narena.